Hey everybody, today I want to talk about payback period, how to calculate, why you may want to use it, why you may not want to use it. So what payback period does is allows you to gauge how long it'll take for an investment or for a project to be worthwhile, for it to potentially break even for you in terms of costs. So let's say we've got an initial investment of $1 million. All right, and over time we're expecting that, or on average annually, it's going to save, let's say, $100,000. So to calculate the payback period, what we're going to do is take this initial investment, divide it by that cost savings. Now, because we're talking about annual cost savings, that means this is referring to 10 years. 10 periods, right? And for periods, we're looking at annual. So it'll take 10 years for this investment for us to recoup our costs from this investment just from all these cost savings. So not a terribly complex calculation. You can obviously just do it in a calculator. You don't need Excel for this. With Excel though, we can make it a bit more flexible where you put in variables for the cost savings and the investment. We can quickly change the cost savings. So let's say $250,000. In that case, the payback period is only going to be 4 periods or 4 years. So it's a really simple calculation to take on. And that's a big advantage of it is, if you've got a lot of projects or investments that you're considering, payback period can be a quick way to rule out the ones that don't require a deeper analysis, that right off the bat, these are going to take way too long for them to be worthwhile, for them to pay back. So the payback period is useful in that sense. The downside of it, and the reason why you shouldn't rely solely on the payback period, is that it doesn't factor in the time value of money. Especially if you've got a payback period of 10 years, the cost savings that you achieve 10 years from now is going to be less valuable than the cost savings you achieve this year or even the next year, just because that time value of money, inflation, and all those costs, are going to devalue that cost savings in the future. So that's a big drawback of the payback period, especially when you're looking at things that can take several years in terms of payback. So it's good as an initial overview, and then once you've deemed that okay, it's not too many years into the future, you can go proceed with a deeper analysis using something like net present value or a calculated return on an investment, just to sort of gauge at that point to see if it's still a worthwhile investment. I wouldn't suggest relying solely on the payback period, just because, again, it's not terribly comprehensive. You're making some assumptions here that annually it's always going to be $250,000 or $100,000 in savings, but in reality, it could and likely will vary year by year. So that's where doing a more in-depth analysis can be more useful. But the payback period can be a good initial analysis, and as you can see, doing Excel or just using your calculator, it's a really simple thing to do.